Hello all, and welcome back to Lily Bees. On today's episode, we're going to discuss what I've selected as 5 quality quintessential bourbons that you need in starting your bourbon journey and your bourbon collection. So stay tuned. So as you can possibly hear, I'm fighting off a cold, so no drinks tonight, but I am planning to have some nighttime cold syrup, and I think it's about 120 proof later, so I've got that covered. So real quick, I'm going to run through these 5 bottles that I selected and explain why. I'll give a little bit of detail as to what you might taste in each of these to convince you one way or another, or maybe you have some of these at home already or something similar and you're kind of on the fence. So we'll start here on my right. What we have here is Rittenhouse Bottled in Bond. This is a rye whiskey, which means that it's over 51% rye. This is Bottled in Bond, which in a nutshell means it's 100 proof, it's aged at least 4 years, and so that's what you're going to get out of this bottle. The reason I'm starting with this is if you're just getting into bourbon and you're not really wanting to try it neat yet, this is a great bottle in a whiskey sour, and that's a really easy cocktail that you can mix if you pick up some sour mix. It's not the correct way to do it, but the easiest way and least expensive is to pick up a $5 bottle of sour mix, pour that in. You're going to go about a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 ratio with the sour mix to the Rittenhouse. The flavors that you're going to get in this bottle are a nice peppery rye spice, and the reason I like this in a whiskey sour is it holds up really well, so you're not going to be overpowered by that sour flavor. You're going to get some nice peppery rye spice out of this, and it's about a $28 bottle, so Rittenhouse Rye. Next, I've got a classic. This is Old Grandad, also bottled in bond, but this is a bourbon, so the 51% corn at least. Also 100 proof. And this one is next in line because this can go either way. This is a good mixer. I would put this more in an old-fashioned. It's got some orangey and orange peel, baking spice type flavors. You're going to get the classic caramel and vanilla. But I like this in a darker drink like an old-fashioned because of those flavors. This is about a, I think, $25 to $30 bottle. And as I said, 100 proof, bottled in bond. And you can also try it by itself, neat, if you want. This is one of the first bottles I tried where I was actually able to pick out multiple flavors that I was noticing. And so that was exciting in a lower proof or medium proof, less expensive bottle to find that. So that's the Old Grandad. Next in line is one that you've maybe seen before on the bottom shelf at most stores, but don't let that fool you. This is Wild Turkey 101. It's 101 proof, so right in line with these two, but it is the sweetest of any of the bottles that I have out here. There is a lot of sweetness in that bottle. Let's see, what did I write? Good viscosity. So what that is just kind of the thickness and the oiliness, which is something I really like. I don't want a watered down, diluted mouthfeel. I like the way that this feels, I guess is the best way to put it. Don't let the 101 proof scare you. It is nice and sweet, with a little bit of a burn, but this is only a $22 bottle, so this is the best bargain of anything up here, and surprisingly, maybe to you, highly recommended. Next in line, you've probably seen these waxy tops around. This is a Maker's Mark, but this is the 46, so this is their classic recipe, except it's finished with French oak staves, and what that does is in a Maker's Mark you're going to get caramel and vanilla heavy. Heavy caramel and vanilla flavors, but the French oak finish really elevates those flavors. And so, in my opinion, this is one of my favorite bottles. It's one of the first 3 I ever bought, and it's still one of my favorites. If you're thinking about purchasing Maker's Mark, I would recommend that you go to the 46 right away, because I think the flavors are more muted in the regular Maker's Mark, but elevated here. And this is about a $35 bottle, 94 proof, so I think it's maybe $5 more than your classic Makers. And I should have mentioned, with these last 3 bottles, I would recommend trying these by themselves first. That's a good way to start. If that's too strong for you, you can add just a little bit of water. Or if you like them cold, you can add a single ice cube and then kind of experiment with how long you want that to melt and dilute the whiskey, and at what point you like the flavor best. That's a good way to start. Finally, this is a classic bottle on the end you've probably seen or heard about. If not, this is Buffalo Trace, one of the quintessential distilleries, and every Buffalo Trace product is highly regarded, highly sought after, and highly valuable. This has all the flavors that you're looking for: caramel, vanilla, baking spices, oak. It's all in there. My only complaint would be that there's not any flavor in particular that's elevated more than the others. It's just all very well balanced. This is a 90 proof, so 45% ABV, and you can find this. If you do find it, I recommend buying it regardless, because it's hard to find. You can find it as low as $23 in my area, and up to about $30 on the shelf, but some people will mark this up to whatever they want. I can't even think of the highest I've seen, $50 plus. Wouldn't be surprising. So anyway, those are the 5 for today to get us started. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next show.